Good evening, YouTube. Tonight we're going to try and finish the review on the Oneida Dust Deputy. I'm out in the garage. We'll do the review tonight, providing that those two peacocks up there in the rafters don't get too upset with the sound. If you saw the video I posted a while back on the harsh realities of life and death on a homestead, that is now that little baby peacock. She's well, good size of a chicken by now. She's getting pretty big. They're out of the cage, obviously, free ranging around the yard, and all 5 peacocks roost in the garage at night. So that's Mama up there with the little baby, and as long as the sound doesn't seem to disturb them too much, we'll continue with the review. If not, we'll pick it up tomorrow or Sunday. But we've got everything put together, ready to go. I got a new vacuum to use for this. I've attached this first bottom bucket to the side so they roll together quite nicely. Collection bucket just drops right in there. I've added the ground washer they recommended that hooks to that tape they put on. Supplied hose goes on top. And the only problem I've found so far, make sure this is still in frame. Smaller hose they give you in the shop vac just doesn't fit on here at all. It's way loose, real sloppy fit. So I will put it on with electrical tape for now. When I switch to the table saw and to the router table, it'll use that bigger diameter hose, but this sliding miter saw, it uses the smaller fitting. So what I will do is cut some boards. Once again, I won't do it on camera because I don't want to, have it too loud on the video. We're already set for 19 1/8 length. It's the same box boards I cut before for the bees. We're using 6-foot 1x10s this time instead of the 12-foot 1x8s. About 6 foot because 12-footers wouldn't fit in the car. I decided to go with the 10 wide instead of the 8 because I can use that extra width to either build winter feeding boxes, which I'm going to have to build here shortly, or I can use it to lengthen those shallow supers that we bought in that used equipment video and turn them into mediums. So we'll see how much I have left over. So I'll also have to cut to make handles for these boxes. And there goes Ginger the kitty. So I will try and cut some boards here, like I said, if it doesn't upset the peacocks too much. And we will see how much dust is in that vacuum cleaner and how much dust is in the collection bucket. Like I said, it's a brand new vacuum cleaner, so there's absolutely nothing in it. So if there's anything in there at all, obviously it came from tonight. So I'll get some boards cut and turn the camera back on, and we'll see how it works. Okay, a little progress update. I've cut 2 of the 19 1/8 boards out of each of the 10-footers. Got the saw reset to cut the 16 1/4s. If you did see my video before where I built the boxes last time, the gentleman that I copied off of said it was 16 5/8. And when I went to put them on with my other boxes, they were a little too wide. So I just went back to the bee yard and confirmed that they are 16 1/4 wide. So the saw's been reset for 16 1/4. But what I wanted to show you was the sawdust. There's a lot on the saw, quite a bit on the ground underneath the saw. I'm not going to condemn the Dust Deputy for this dust. This is a Harbor Freight saw, and it's got that smaller diameter outlet there for the chip collection. So it might be just the way the saw is designed that it's not going to be very efficient for collecting dust. I'm a little disappointed because I'd like to use this inside, but not if it's going to lose that much dust. But there we are so far. I mean, I haven't looked inside the Dust Deputy. We'll do that in a little bit. But I just want to kind of let you know that so far, not too sure. There's quite a bit of sawdust on the ground, but then again, I suppose without the vacuum on there, there'd probably be, 2 or 3 times that much. So we'll cut these other boards down, 2 of them at 16 1/4 each. Then we'll set the table saw up, rip them down to width, which I think is 6 5/8, but I'll verify that. And then we'll do some moving over here and put the router table up, and we'll see how it works with the table saw and see how it works with the router table. I will keep you updated. All right, all the boards have been ripped down to length. Basically, I had 6-foot boards, so I've more or less ripped 36 feet of lumber, and we have just a little tiny bit of sawdust up here on top of the table, and a little pile underneath the table saw, but not bad at all. I mean, I had some little bit up on my shirt, but still it wasn't too bad. Now, I don't know if this was an issue or not. This came out of that small Craftsman hose. I don't know when I picked this up. I vacuumed after I got done and put the sliding miter saw away, so I had a clean floor to start with the table saw for comparison. But this was up at the outlet of the vacuum hose. So if this would have been in there the whole time, and as much sawdust is packed in there, it's just got a little tear opening on the back. I'm not even sure what screws came in this pack or what this was out of. But like I said, depending on when this was vacuumed up, this may have contributed to the lack of chip pickup on that miter saw. So next time I build these boxes, I'll have to verify that hose is cleared before I start. I did notice when I was vacuuming the floor after I was done, you could almost hear the suction slow down. So I may have picked it up at that point, but we'll verify it next time I use it to see. But for now, it definitely works a lot better with the table saw. It's the larger diameter hose, and potentially the saw is the factory collection system on the saw may be in better design than that miter saw. But we'll get the table saw put away, clear part of this bench off over here, and get the router table mounted up on this bench and try routing the edges of these. My biggest concern is going to be the router, because I was having trouble last time with the outlet clogging up with chips, and I ended up having to take a air hose and blow the chips out the back of it between every cut, because it would just clog up pretty bad, especially when I was cutting a long length of the wood. So we'll get some of this bench cleaned off and permanently mount that router table up here on the end so it's easier to use. We'll go from there, and I'll keep you informed. All right, the routering's done, and as you can see, there's just a very, very little sawdust from the router. There's a little bit, but not bad. There's some chips on the floor. The end cut would kind of chip out a little bit. Very little on top, but this did not clog up at all. It just hogged right through these. What I would do is a 3/8 by 5/8 across the top and a 3/8 by 3/4 down each side. So there's a considerable amount of router work there, and it's just a little teeny tiny bit of chips. So let's stick this back in the tripod, and I will go pull the Dust Deputy and vacuum apart, and we will see what we've got as far as dust goes. There's our dust bucket. It is almost 100% full. So we got got quite a bit collected there. As you can see, these router chips are pretty good sized chips. And the vacuum, virtually empty. There's 5 little chips in there. That's it. So I would definitely have to give this Dust Deputy a thumbs up review. Very little dust in the garage. A few seconds is going to clean it all up. The router didn't clog at all, which was my big issue. So I can't see anything wrong with this Dust Deputy at all, other than the fact that the Craftsman, or not the Craftsman, pardon me, the shop vac hose doesn't want to fit on the end, and the O-rings they give you don't really help. And it's not really the Dust Deputy problem. It's a problem with the hose design on the shop vac. But I really can't complain at all. 2 thumbs up review on this. I'm very impressed. My main concern, like I said before, was the router, and it worked beautifully with the router. And the nice thing about that router table is it's got an extra spot to plug something else in, so I can turn the vacuum and the router table on with the same switch. So that came in pretty handy as well. So the United Systems Dust Deputy, like I said, I think I picked this up for right around $100 on Amazon. It was the deluxe kit that came with everything. You can buy just the Cyclone unit itself for I think around $50. Either way, it's a good value, I believe. Was $50 for a couple wheels and a couple buckets in a hose worth it? I think it was. Just for the simple fact that the shop vac hose doesn't want to fit on there. At least I know I've got a good solid hose between the Dust Deputy and the vacuum, and it fit this shop vac, and I also had it in a Craftsman vac. It fit in that vac just as well. I didn't use it on that vacuum, but it also fit in there. So I would imagine it would also fit a rigid vacuum, because they all, I think, have a 2.5 or 2.25 inch inlet on them. So no complaints whatsoever. The only slight issue that I've noticed is since I've mounted this bucket to the vacuum, when I put this bucket in, it drags on those screw heads just a little bit. But yeah, big deal. Helps hold it in place. It still pulls out. It's going to be easy to empty. So I said thumbs up for Oneida Dust Devil, or Dust Deputy. Sorry. It's late, I'm tired. Anyway, that's the review on that. No complaints. Everything seems pretty positive on it. Take it as you will. I would definitely recommend it. And if you were going to use it in a heavier application, maybe the 5-gallon bucket isn't enough. Maybe you should mount that little Cyclone piece on a 55-gallon drum, or one of those 30-gallon cardboard drums. Might work just as well. That way you'd have a little more volume, because with the work I did tonight, as you saw, that bucket was almost full. A couple seconds to empty, it's not a big deal. So either way, bigger collection unit, or just empty the 5-gallon bucket a little more often if you're using it a little heavier than I used it tonight. But no complaints whatsoever. Peacocks, they stayed up there just fine. Didn't seem to bother them at all, so I was able to get this review in tonight. Please subscribe. Thumbs up if you wish. Thumbs down if you wish. If you thumbs down it, please tell me why. Questions and comments are always welcome. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.